Welcome back to Third Phase of Moon. Blake Cousins, we've got the videos for you tonight. We're looking at one right now. A UFO in close proximity to a commercial airline. The video goes on for quite some time. We're looking at this object, and we've got the panel tonight. We've got Brent Cousins, my brother, along with Paula Asteria and Dr. J, coming in from Dr. J Radio Live. And we're looking at this. Guys, I want to get your opinions in tonight's episode. We're sharing you the evidence. We're looking for answers, and we're showing a close-up of it right now. Brent, your thoughts first.
Yeah, this one's kind of making the rounds. It caught our eye earlier. Somebody's filming this at 30,000 feet from a commercial airliner. We see this bright, luminescent object kind of dart around. It starts at the top of the clouds and makes this kind of left bank going down towards Earth at a pretty rapid rate. It seems to almost break up at points with lights too at the same time. Pretty amazing capture of what's coming in. If this is legit, we're looking at something special at the moment.
I think whatever this is definitely metallic in nature, because it seems to have this bright light glinting off it. Obviously probably the sunlight. If you're in an airliner up above the clouds like that, definitely something metal that would be above the clouds would shine really bright like that. So I'm wondering if it's a Tic Tac.
Dr. J, your thoughts?
This is actually really fantastic footage. First of all, the fact that it's glowing. This actually goes along with Bob Lazar's, what he said when he was first interviewed in 1989. When you have basically a high energy source in an atmosphere like ours filled with gas, essentially oxygen and hydrogen, what do? You get this sort of glowing object even in the daylight. Secondly, we have a bunch of people now that have planes or on planes and are literally using their phones in their pocket to film objects out of the sky or outside the window. The reason why this is one of the best ones is because you have the clouds in there for frame of reference. So you have one thing that a scientist who allegedly worked on these craft before talks about is what you're seeing. And secondly, this doesn't look like anything that behaves that we have on Earth.
Could this be CGI, Dr. J? I'm looking at this closely and I'm kind of rolling it out. Your opinion?
You know, it's really amazing footage. Unfortunately, CGI, deepfakes, AI has gone so good these days. We don't even know if a human speaking on TV is real anymore. So unfortunately, we can't rule it out 100%, but I tend to think that this is probably legitimate footage.
Yeah, I tend to agree that what we're sharing with you is authentic. That's why we're bringing it to Third Phase Moon. We don't want to put up CGI videos, but you never know in this time and age. But I think we still got a good eye of what's to discern what's real and what's not. I think what we're looking at is something that the FAA pilots, these pilots that are aboard these commercial airliners, could you imagine if they just had a little bit more freedom without the ridicule and the laugh factor when it comes to this? And we're getting this a lot from the passengers aboard these commercial airliners rather than the pilots themselves. And we urge any pilot out there, I know you're out there, you watch Third Phase of Moon, people around the world are watching us, and pilots out there, share your stuff. Don't be afraid. You want to be anonymous, that's fine, but we're looking for evidence coming in, not only from the passengers, but from the pilots and maybe some of the staff members as well. Again, a lot of videos coming in tonight, so let's roll the next one. Guys, this one is quite remarkable. Watch. Amateur astronomer captures some moment of time in our solar system. A celestial object captured within the optic camera itself of something traversing across space behind Saturn. It's kind of incredible. I'm just wondering, where is NASA? Come on, NASA, give us some answers here. I'm sure you're tracking this at this moment. What the heck is it? What's going on?
This is some pretty incredible footage we're looking at. Just came in, it's making the rounds. We see this kind of purplish, hueish object. It must be massive as it makes its way past and behind Saturn. It actually goes behind the eclipse of the shadow right at the last moment there. And you also see the moons of Saturn as well. There's 83 documented moons at the moment. So we're looking at no moon. We're looking at something up there. I do believe this is legit. You see the atmospheric distortion being shot through the telescope at the moment. Everything seems to ring true with the frame rate, the way we see this kind of blue object, and it's refracting off of it. You see it refracting off of everything. So I think what we're seeing is within the camera itself, and if that's the case, we're looking at something amazing. Again, if this object is that close to the planet Saturn, this thing's got to be the size of a moon.
Yeah, you know, I'm wondering why, when I see this, is it possible that there's a trail behind it and it's just not visible from here? Like maybe it's a comet or a meteor. I know Saturn just kind of attracts a lot around it. That's why it has its rings. So I think that's definitely interesting. Dr. J, what are your thoughts?
This is amazing footage. And back what Brent was saying, the size of this object, it literally has to be the size of our moon, if not bigger, just to appear that big close to Saturn, which is a fairly large planet. And the irony of this footage coming into third phase of the moon today is this is days after I just told you about a book coming from the early 80s by an author named Norman Bergrun, which is titled Ringmakers of Saturn. In there, he also details how some of the rings are actually created by these starships or spaceships, and lays out an entire book of this evidence. Now, whether or not that's true, that the rings were created by Saturn, this footage is definitely amazing. And let me add one more thing, the fact that it's blue. So many times you have NASA showing a live stream where they actually show some sort of craft in the sky or objects that appear blue in origin or blue glowing. The reason why it's different color than what would be in our atmosphere is because there is no atmosphere in outer space. So when you take all these things in evidence, I think this is one of the best real pieces of footage from an astronomer. And people out there should be definitely looking not just at Saturn, but every planet closer.
Absolutely, John. It's very fascinating. What we're looking at is, actually, we just sped up some of the footage to give it a kind of more of a motion of movement so you could see the trajectory of this object. But this is all captured within 5 minutes, and you see this blue object clearly pass by the planet Saturn and behind it. Given that little fast forward motion gives a little bit more of a kind of that pathway this craft is taking, if indeed it is a craft. Again, Blake, your thoughts?
It's interesting, again, looking at the footage, and we have the Galileo project with functioning equipment right now. So far, we're hearing kind of on the inside story that they haven't captured anything at this moment. Avi told us that it would have been 2 years that he would have captured a UFO. I think that date has passed. Maybe if we could just lock down the exact time this was captured and get some more data on this video, and then submit it to our friends over there at Galileo and help them out, because the public is where we're going to get the evidence at. That's where we're going to get disclosure. But once again, we're looking at something that is massive, almost actually the size of the moon. You can see as we speed up the video, the moons are pretty stationary in their orbit around Saturn, but we're not seeing this thing in any kind of formation with the other moons. So this thing's cooking here. Again, Dr. J, the implications, NASA should be giving us some heads up here.
They absolutely should, because the size of Saturn, and for the ability for this object to pass in the path that it does and get behind it. I mean, again, the size of it and the speed of it are just so mind-blowing. You don't have any natural objects that actually operate like that in our solar system. This should have not only been brought up by astronomers and NASA, everybody in the world should be talking about this. I mean, this should be a global event right now.
Yeah, people are looking at this and they're thinking that this thing's not moving too fast. But if you know the size of Saturn, it's the second to the biggest planet in our solar system compared to Jupiter. So this thing's massive. You could fit so many Earths in there. I don't know, like 100,000. I'm not sure. I'm just throwing it out there, but it's huge. So if this thing's passing behind Saturn right there, this thing's cooking. It's just moving so fast to go in that distance.
John, again, the implications, we have Space Force, we have NASA, and where are the other instruments that are capturing this? If this is legitimate and what we're looking at is authentic, which we're looking more into this, and we're seeing that it seems that everything's matching up, that what we're looking at is the real deal. There's no manipulation. So I'd imagine there's more evidence out there. How do we disseminate this besides YouTube and Third Phase of Moon? It's going to take the people out there to really get the word out, but maybe we should take this to a higher level and maybe stir things up, or should we just keep it to ourselves and avoid the major media? I don't know. Your thoughts, Dr. J, on that?
I say we bring this to attention to Avi Loeb, because this is exactly the stuff he's been looking for in our solar system, especially when he first identified Oumuamua and said that it's possibly a derelict spaceship and not just some sort of meteor or interstellar natural object. We shouldn't just wait for the people. Of course, we always want the people to come forward, but I think in this instance, since there are other space telescopes and private space telescopes in our orbit right now, definitely caught this on multiple, shots up close, different colors, infrared, all that is available. So we need somebody at the higher ups to actually give this to us.
Yeah, John, I don't think the major media really wants to touch anything except from the insiders. They only showcase people that are basically actors, in my opinion, on their channels, and they kind of share things that are pretty mundane. We're dropping stuff for years that the media would love to cover, but they're just a little shy, I think, covering Third Phase of Moon, because they only work with the insiders in that business.
Yeah, the whole aspect of major media has been taken over by conglomerates and major business. They don't want to deal with the small guy, and where the real truth is, they got a narrative and they're going to stick to it. They're being kind of told what to say. Obviously, you hear all the networks rinse and repeat the same narrative every single day, 24/7. We're bringing in kind of the new footage as it comes in from the public. I think that's what's the most important thing, what we're doing here. Quickly, before we get to the next video, any last words on this one here, Dr. J?
No, I just think this is one of the greatest ones because of the size and the, how fast it's actually going. And what you said about the talking heads in the mainstream media, not only are they repeating the same stuff, like you said, rinsing the same story, they're using the same people. It's like they all got the memo on Monday morning. This is what you're going to talk about. This is the footage you're going to show. Every single channel is the same thing. That's why it's Third Phase of Moon I've always been saying this, the largest and the original UFO YouTube channel that the world goes to bring footage and to showcase it. We know those people are watching it. Unfortunately, the media's not talking about it.
Appreciate it, Dr. J. More footage just into Third Phase of Moon. We're looking at it right now. Nevada, something hovering in the sky, something mundane, something out of this world. We're not sure. Just take a close look. We're going to get some close-ups on this too. Check it out. The Nevada mountains showcases all kinds of evidence coming in from that region. It's notorious for UFO sightings. Are we looking at something that's experimental, some kind of private corporation playing around with new technology? Or could this be some kind of blimp? I'm not seeing any canopy, no FAA lights, and I'm pretty sure there's no advertisement for any reason to be out there for an advertisement balloon. This seems to be in the middle of nowhere. So why is it out there? Well, what's it doing? It seems that the person that shot this figures that something's going on. He better film it. Dr. J, your thoughts?
Because it's over Nevada, the first thing that I think about is Groom Lake, Area 51. I mean, we know they've been testing there for well over 75 years. Lockheed Martin, Skunk Works, all those private defense contractors. This very well could be the next generation of drone. At the same time, though, it does look spherical. It does look like UFOs that people have talked about in the past. It's got this metallic sheen to it. And also, I like the footage because you have a frame of reference with the mountains in the background. Now, can I say conclusively whether it's ours versus something exotic? No, but it's something mechanical, probably technology that I think on this case belongs to us.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of a kind of a floating propane tank in a silver sheen, and it's moving from a right to left as it drifts in the wind, or it's on its own propulsion. I can't tell you that, but we got a good close-up of this thing, and again, no gondola. I don't see this as being some sort of commercial blimp, an advertisement Goodyear by any means. Maybe a possibility of some sort of weather blimp balloon that got untethered and kind of floating away, but we just don't know. It's pretty good capture right here, because we got to look at this close up. It's right there in your face. It's unidentified. Again, we need to be on the ground to identify these things, and maybe somebody needs to just keep driving up to it and don't stop the camera until you get a definite yes or no on what this is. So right now, still on the fence, but this is legit in my opinion. No CGI, 100% in-house on the camera.
No, I agree with Dr. J with the fact that, you know, a lot goes on in Nevada. There's a lot of different testing ranges, and Area 51 obviously is out there. So a lot is definitely happening in the skies there, that's for sure. I feel like when I see this, at first it makes me think of a balloon because of how slowly it's moving, but it does seem to have this cylindrical appearance to it. And as I look at it closer, it almost seems like maybe I'm seeing that because it almost looks like there's a shadow that's hitting the mountain behind it.
Yeah, interesting. The optics, the shadows, everything comes into play when people shoot the video. And what I say is, shoot first with your camera, ask questions later. You just want the footage, and that's what we're looking for. More stuff coming into Third Phase of Moon. Dr. J just got this video just moments ago. I'm excited to get his thoughts, and I want to get your thoughts, people from around the world joining us in this live premiere. Hit that thumbs up. Let's roll the next video right now. Take a look. So we're looking at something. Obviously, it has people on the ground bewildered. Take out your cameras once again and start filming. Is this some kind of mocked up helium blimp balloon trying to freak people out on the ground, Brent?
Yeah, we've seen this before. I don't think we've ever shared it on Third Phase of Moon, so this is a classic example of what we need to all look at. In my opinion, I do think this is conventional with nice bells and whistles to try to make this thing look like a flying saucer. Dr. J?
Yeah, you know, you have to beg the question, is it too good to be true? Obviously, we're not looking at something daylight, and the most reported type of UFO for, geez, 100+ years, if not several hundred years, has been the classic flying saucer. So this time, this one looks a little too good to be true for me. I mean, it could be the smoking gun, but my gut is leaning toward possibly not.
They had down there what we would know today like sort of like a hadron collider in order to create the time-space continuum disruption that they needed to connect with other dimensions.
So this is battery 216, and this is the first place I ever ventured into the base.
You can't see his face. It's like the Matrix or something. Like it's just like a peach blur. Like they blurred out his face.
And there's other people there who were involved in his life and his time travel projects.
All time coexists, and it's possible to go from point A to point B.
But these groups work together very closely, especially recently, and especially on projects such as Montauk.
The time is now. You just watched it, the Lost Souls of Montauk trailer, and it's available right now on Dark Hour Paranormal's YouTube channel. We're supplying the link below. It's a feature full-length documentary, and Dr. J has just watched it along with the panel here, and I wanted to get your thoughts as we showcase some of the trailer, and again, I urge you to go check it out. Dr. J, this is pretty heavy-duty stuff. Your thoughts?
The first thing is, the trailer actually wanted to make me see the movie more than the subject matter itself. Obviously, I'd known for quite some time through Dark Hour that this movie was made. And it wasn't until I saw the trailer that I'm like, you know what, I want to see this pretty much quicker than I was kind of expecting to. And also the fact there's some very important people in here. You have people like Peter Moon, someone who's been a classic person that has talked about being involved in the Montauk Project, has written no less than 4 books that he sent me about it, and a lot of people who claim to be actual participants and alleged survivors. And you get to see a tour of the Montauk base and all these weird structures that were apparently abandoned in 1982. So it's a very interesting film.
Yeah, it took a Dark Hour, Michael, about 2 years to put this all together. Yeah, he was keeping us informed during the time. He says this was a difficult piece to make, and when it's all said and done, I think he really nailed it, because he's got tons of eyewitnesses, tons of people that claim to have been at Montauk, and it's just fascinating. It goes down with this nostalgic interviews of lost people. Again, like you said, Peter Moon. It just kind of goes down the rabbit hole of Montauk. Really appreciated this documentary, and it's available right now. Paula, what do you think of this?
Yeah, you know, it was really incredible to hear these stories, these personal accounts of these people who believe that they were a part of this project. And what I thought was even more amazing that Michael did with this project was actually go to this location at Montauk and do these investigations around the underground bunkers and different areas on the site. And he made some really incredible discoveries. So I definitely recommend checking it out. It's definitely worth your time.
The Montauk Project, The Lost Souls. Again, it's available right now. Dark Hour Paranormal, the channel. It's blowing up. Subscribe and watch the documentary. Again, it's fascinating, and it goes down the rabbit hole. Like Brent said, everybody keep your eyes on the skies. If you've captured anything amazing, you know where to submit it. Everybody, be safe. We'll see you next time.
Over and out.
We'll catch you next time.